Hello, this is Mr. Park, and today I am going to briefly go over the agricultural revolution. We will delve into answering the questions of what it is, why it matters, and how we're living under its influence. But before we start, what exactly is the agricultural revolution? The agricultural revolution was a major change in human history when people moved from hunting and gathering food to farming and raising animals. A long time ago, humans lived as hunter-gatherers. They moved from place to place, searching for food like animals, fish, fruits, and nuts. They could not stay in one place for long because they depended completely on nature. Now, I want you to imagine something. Imagine waking up tomorrow and there's no refrigerator, no grocery stores, no restaurants. You're not going to get any school lunch. And of course, there's no pizza. If you wanted breakfast, you would have to go outside, find berries, catch fish, or maybe even hunt for food. That was everyday life for all the human beings. Despite all the inconvenience, being a hunter-gatherer had some advantages. People explored new places. They followed animals. They discovered rivers, forests, and mountains. But there was also a big problem. Food was never ever guaranteed. And some days you found plenty and other days you found nothing. Imagine being hungry and not knowing where your next meal would come from. That was a very difficult life. And because food could run out quickly, people constantly had to move. But then something incredible happened. Humans began to notice something. If seeds fell onto the ground and rain came, plants began to grow. Someone probably realized, wait a minute, what if we plant these on purpose? And that small idea changed the world forever. So basically, this is what we call the agricultural revolution. It was the time when humans stopped depending only on wild plants and wild animals and started growing crops themselves. They planted wheat, rice, corn, and maize. And they also raised animals like cows, sheep, goats, and chicken. So instead of chasing animals, they brought animals to their settlements. So why was this such a big deal? Well, because now people could finally stay in one place. Instead of constantly moving around every once in a while, searching for food, humans began settling down. They built permanent homes, then small villages, then larger towns, and eventually massive cities. Farming gave people a stable food supply, which allowed populations to grow and societies to become more organized. People could specialize in different jobs instead of spending all their time hunting and gathering. This was the beginning of civilization itself. And without agriculture, many of the cities and societies we know today might never have existed in the first place. So it sounds like farming is great, isn't it? Well, but farming was never ever easy. Farmers had to wake up early in the morning. They had to plant seeds, water crops, pull weeds, protect animals, harvest food, and do it again and again and again. Farming gave humans more food, but it also gave them a lot more work. But as farming changed the world, something else changed too. As people grew extra food, some families had more land, more animals, and more food than others. And in the ancient world, more food meant more power. Some families became wealthier, while others had less. And for the first time in human history, social classes began to appear. Because food was no longer just something people ate, food became power. And this was the beginning of the difference between the rich and the poor. Now, do you remember the original question? How are we still living under the agricultural revolution today? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. The answer is everywhere, literally. Even the bread you eat, the milk you drink, the clothes you wear, even the city you live in. It all connects back to farming. The agricultural revolution changed how humans lived, and its story continues with us even today. I'm Sungjin Park, and thank you for listening.